All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give out honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shah by Hashem Kakadash. The honors to the elders and the apostles to great millstone, who rule well and teach well. Shalom to the whole like men that scattered abroad, presenting the truth without sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And also shalom to a very few sincere sisters that's taking heed and getting in order in these last days. I'm your brother Amawan, coming to the quick lesson, Lord was edifying to the point. Right, so as this right here is a big deal for us, especially at Great Millstone, starting with the apostles, because we believe in this particular prophecy of MOTB. The correct breakdown of it will be on the RFID C-hip. Right, and we know that soon come be a time where, excuse me, you will have to have this device in order to be accepted inside society. And as we can see, what's going on around, you having these data centers put up all over the place. I wish I could have chimed in a video adding to this video of the plant centers that's actually in Georgia itself. They're all over. And actually, my company just got a contract to actually build certain these things for it. And it's a big project, like 25 mil for the department they're in, to construct for it. But nevertheless, we see that, we see these flock cameras being set up. We're seeing the grid is being set before our eyes, and here you go with Esau, with these miracles that's going to add on to it, man. Right? When you read from Revelation 13, I want to say about 14 on down, telling he to see those by those miracles, man. And a lot of people are going to get this get this chip because of what it can do for them, right? The conveniency, and that's how he's going to trick a lot of people, right? But once you know these scriptures, right, you hold fast to them. Never trust thy enemy, So this is the world star picture, right? And it says Elon Musk says brain C-hip implants could soon give humans godlike powers. See, and that's the whole thing about it, right? Esau wants to control you, but he's going to pitch it off to this right here. And it's also he wants to be like the Most High. Matter of fact, I grab that one first. I didn't look at it. I think it's 14. Yep. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Hey, but look at this though. Verse 15. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. Right. But the beauty of it is, they will be getting taken down. But for the moment, they're trying to be like the Most High. They're trying to pretty much try to give you a certain power, man. But we already know how. The Lord already said, when he get to try to fulfill his the belly of his sufficiency, Shalakia, down to swallow my tongue. When he reached the belly of his sufficiency, the Lord's going to pretty much put an end to it, right? So as in when he's about to, almost full, pulling this whole thing off, right? The Lord's going to stop him in his tracks, But that's what he's going to try to do, is come with these godlike powers. So with that being said, let me play this clip.
I think some kind of brain machine interface that can give you cybernetic superpowers, I think, is probably good. It could, help people that have brain or spine injuries. Restore, enable people who've never spoken for years to speak again, which is.
And I'm gonna stop right there, and best believe I'm gonna upload this clip itself onto my page just to have it, just in case a brother may want to use it. All right, but like he said, they're trying to pretty much give you godlike powers, be able to a person that was down from a spinal injury and can't walk anymore, paralyzed. Right, they'll be able to give them this chip to where these things aid you and have you able to do those things again. Or if your hand is broken or whatever, can't use your hand no more, and they're able to put this device to where it can do it with these left hand miracles. And that's still leading up to Revelation 13 and verse 14. And also, this is why you shouldn't be mixing man and machine anyway, because the Lord tells you in the book of Revelation chapter 16 and I think verse 2, how taking this will give you pretty much a cancer, right? A cancer like, a discharge, pus, radiation, because you got machine inside your body. You got these frequencies running all through your body, especially your brain. You're gonna fry that. But that's what these devils not telling you, you know. Matter of fact, let me grab a quick scripture right quick. It's 2 Corinthians 2, verse 11. It says, "Let Satan shake in the NLT, so that Satan will not outsmart us, for we are familiar with his evil schemes." Right? We beat him to the punch. We already know, not beat him to the punch, so like it, but we already ahead of the curve. You know what I'm saying? He's not finna. We know the cause and effect. What's that gonna do to us? You know, and also what the Lord's gonna do to us by bowing down. Because that's all it is, right? With Esau trying to set up this new system with this chip, pretty much we're selling out, letting the Lord know that we don't serve him, we serve Esau Edom. That's all this chip is about, and that's really another tactic to where he can get his blessing back, So go back to the video.
Which we've done, give people eyesight who have lost both eyes or the optic nerve, or maybe have never even seen at all, blind from birth, by direct interface to the optical centers in the brain. You can actually restore eyesight, or give people eyesight that they've never had before, and you can enable people to walk again, which I think is profound. I mean, these are kind of Jesus level things, like I say, like when technologies are hitting like Jesus level miracles, that's pretty good.
Yeah, so definitely not no good thing, but I'm definitely bringing out these scripts, Slakia. So that's definitely where they at right now with it, and it's definitely it's here. You had Britain, King Charles was already saying about the same thing about having a digital ID. Cotton Swab had said it, a couple of years back. If you don't have this, device or digital ID, you be X out of society. So it's definitely here, But let me go to that main thing, because the main thing was really in Revelation 13 and verse 14, because he's going to deceive a lot of these people. And that's why, we always push this one scripture. We push all these scriptures, but the one that be at the forefront every time is going to be that Isaiah 33:6, right? That wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, because we come to a time period where without having no knowledge, without having no stability, right, you're going to fall for anything, and you're going to fall at his tricks that he's given to you. That's going to be presented, such as the brain chip and its benefits, right? Bro's going to already say 2020 was a pre-run to see how the people would move, right? So like we're going so slow, trying to get my words out. This Revelation 13 and verse 14, and he deceived them that dwell on the earth by the miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live, right? And even though I already noticed that Rome 2.0, so just believe the tactic that they had inside first Rome, best believe that it has tripled, quadrupled. This is Esau Edom last time ruling, so he's going to come with it. All the deception is possible, As he's saying, you may have that one family member you just wish that they could just walk, right? This man came up with a solution, And if you're Israelite, you better not take it. You better let the Lord heal that person, right? Don't go through this Esau Edom to get healed, man. Because you about to get torched by the thermonuclear missile by taking that. Or you might, the radio frequency cancer might just take you out, But I read all the way down. Got to bring it all the way out. It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as will not worship the image of the beast should be killed, right? And we know that without having this device, you can be to a point where maybe in a concentration camp, and maybe before that, and maybe to the point where you just cut off from society because you didn't want to agree with the terms that he has presented, right? Meaning you didn't have the see-up, so... Verse 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, right? And this goes to show you, like even in NLT, it tells you he required everyone, small and great. Because this is going to be the new standard. If you don't have this, you can't go inside Walgreens. You can't go inside Costco's, right? And a lot of these stores already have the sensor for it, right? The scan the forehead, or just even at the register, it can scan your wrist. So That's another thing that cuts the Marcus Sin thing, you know. But having this, matter of fact, let me grab that inside the blue letter because it's all going to show you that he's just want to have full submission over you, right? You have that device inside you. It's gonna be like a car. You can cut that car on and off as you will, right? So when you go inside Mark, so like you go inside Mark in the blue letter, and you go all the way down to the strong definition, right? It says a scratch or etching stamped as a badge of servitude, right? So when we go to servitude, the definitions want to bring that back out. It goes into slavery, servitude. It says the state of being a slave or completely subject to someone more powerful, right? So if you're completely subject, that means the person can completely control you, right? And he'll be doing that through that nuclear missile. I mean, through the nuclear missile. You will get hit with a nuclear missile, but he'll be controlling you through that chip, man. You know, and he'll be able to pretty much do whatever because you won't be able to work. You know, he can change your credit score if you do certain things. They're able to pick up on your behavior, right? The same thing that they're showing in China, right? It's going to be pretty much on a worldwide event. Worldwide stage. You know, but that was really it on this quick lesson. Just want to bring out this video of where the devil is at, man. He's trying to pretty much smooth talk people into getting this chip for these so-called godlike powers. Matter of fact, let me bring out this one other quick scripture in the book of Psalms 55, you know, because at the end of the day, you take this C-hip, excuse me, you take this C-hip, you're definitely going to die. It's Isaiah 55, verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter. And look what he just did. He said, you'll be able to get God-like powers. Right? That's real smooth to a person that has no wisdom and knowledge. You know, scripture said the prudent man foresees the evil, but the simple pass on and is punished. And also it says the simple believe of every word. You know, the simple believe of every word, but the prudent man look at what's going. So like it. Right? So it said the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. Right? And as I brought out earlier, you know, we're not ignorant of his devices, right? His craftiness. Right? Because at the end of the day, he's still in war mode. Right, he's trying to get rid of everybody, man. You know, if you that Georgia Guidestone for the ticket down, it had a certain amount of people that he want on Earth, right? Slocking, but he definitely want them to be tagged with that device. It says his words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. See, his words are soothing as lotion. Come on, some good Johnson coconut butter. You know, some aloe vera, whatever, lotion. It is real smooth. It said, but underneath are daggers, see? And that's how he gets you every time. So he can come at you with these godlike powers. But the whole time he got war in his heart. This man is always up to no good. This man is crafty like that. Right, so Lord willing, lessons quick and edifying. I'm going to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Kakadash. Shalom.